Well, Margaret, I too am pleased to be able to reply some of the delightful speeches today from the Taoiseach, Taoiseach and other Minister Ryan, the tripartite to make up this government and the wonderful budget, playing mind games with the people. Because everyone knows that the last 3 years or 2 years this government and the previous government are not serving the people anymore. You're serving some other global masters, but it's not in the interest of the people here. And you come to the charade, and I think this is my Deputy Dail said a while ago he's here for 40 budgets. I'm here for 15 or 16. Missed last year. I was sick, but it's a charade now. It's all out in the media. The whole and in the press conference this morning, I don't know what you want them for, to see if the people how they react to the crumbs that they've got from the mighty table of the triumvirate, the GR. I did welcome some issues yesterday. I too welcome the VAT on defibrillators and other health products like that, and issues like that. I welcome the bonuses on it. But it's the people's taxpayers' money that you're regurgitating and recycling and giving them back crumbs, as I said. What has happened to our agricultural industry, our primary industry in this country that served us well from the foundation of our state? When K. Whittaker and others decided to be visionaries and develop our agricultural industry. I mean, it's just beggars belief that we're now second from the bottom at the agricultural industry sector in the funding in this year's budget. The only lower one is the Taoiseach's budget. He doesn't need the budget because he doesn't do anything as such as only for PR and forever media stuff and God knows what. Agriculture was used to that. And the Greens, I said, are happy with that. And the transport, again, is cut. But, as I said, agriculture, a primary industry that dragged us by the heels out of the last 2 recessions. And now we're in deep crisis, and people, especially small beef and indeed small sheep farmers, hill farmers, will be extinct. They'll be run off the land, like Cromwell did all those years ago. As I said, they cannot survive and eke out a living that they're there. So that is unbelievable. Look, health is what I'm trying to talk about. A black monstrosity. Look at the Children's Hospital. A monumental disaster. And now you'll have a 10% increase in the concrete that's going to the rest of it. This won't stop at 3 billion. And it'll never be, you can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. Wrong place, wrong location, not accessible. And then by the time they get to fit the equipment, it'll be well out of date because, as we know, there's the lifespan and all that equipment. It's an awful charade. Broadband is the same, another charade. And any other project that you're doing, you just can't. The incompetence is frightening, as I said. Minister, the Greens' footprints, or fingerprints, are all over this boat because their footprints are standing down on the agriculture. Just diminish it, and their fingerprints are all over, mentioned umpteen places. I'm surprised that the transport budget was cut under the third Minister Ryan, who's the third member of this government that's leading this country, and he allowed that to happen in his own department. So to get his vanity projects and to get it to cripple agriculture and the carbon tax and everything else, he lost out where he should be watching for major infrastructure projects, and that's happened. The carbon tax is criminal. In this, that you could tricky the loop down the convention centre, passed it that we were an incremental increase for 10 years without even voting here. And you had the audacity to put that on this year on hard-pressed taxpayers, on hard-pressed people that have to travel to work and have to put fuel in every machine. When generators are buying now to keep the lights on, they'd have to put fuel in that as well, and it has costed. The farm contractors didn't even get a mention. But the carbon tax is punitive. And we have parties here now voting against the increase when they voted for the 10-year solution that we would have an incremental increase every year. It's farcical, really. As I said, the tourism sector, our hotels, the blow you've given those, the sector that was so badly affected, as a huge part of our. Like, we're not talking about hotels in Dublin, and I did hear someone today suggest that we should have a different tax for Dublin rate, like they have in New York. Because the extortionate prices being charged here, they must be cut back. But I'm talking about the decent hoteliers all over Tipperary, from Carrigan-Shore up to Clonmel to Care House Hotel, up to Cashel, right up to North Tipperary, Ross Grey, Templemore, and you name it, Nina. Wonderful, hard-working, dedicated entrepreneurs employ many people. And the way they were unceremoniously closed during COVID, and we saw the bigger supermarkets and all could stay open, but they were all punished. And now to give them that message now that on the end of February coming, that you're going to raise the VAT again. And when there's so many tens of thousands of people employed, and indeed a 10 million industry, and it's so vital, especially in agriculture and rural Ireland, the tourism industry. People have turned to that in a desperate effort to make their places better and more receptive, but also to put bread and butter on the table. And what have you done to them? Kicking the teeth. The agriculture, the housing, we know, the housing thresholds in Tipperary haven't been reviewed for over a decade, 11 years actually. Minister O'Brien stood there where you are sitting now, Minister, and told us in November they were under review. No, a couple of counties were reviewed. Tipperary wasn't. The anguish and the punishment that's putting on ordinary families, working families, people who you claim to represent, because they're over the thresholds are so ridiculously low. They're over the thresholds for HAP and over the thresholds, and in there they're over the thresholds as well to get a council to get a loan, and they can't get loans from the council. That is also terrible. You all did put on the 10%, as I said, tax on 10% on concrete. It will affect every house, home, people trying to build houses for themselves, builders, road making, you name it, anything else that goes on. But most major projects are stopping anyway because there's no confidence now in this government. You don't know what way you're going or what way things are turning out. So as I said, the home buyers then as well, the assist for people, the first-time buyers. You're not allowed to buy a second-hand house or an old house that needs to be done up or repaired. Where is the sense in that? And Minister, I also want to say, look, that I hope, and I know it won't happen, it should happen, the biggest vacant property tax, the biggest vacant property owner are the county councils around the country, as they're the biggest polluters in our water courses as well. But in this case, the vacant properties, will they be made pay a vacant property tax? No, but they should be. And some incentive given them to not have this carry-on of houses being left idle and being left like that. So that is a huge anomaly. So it's all medicine for the little people, Nadine August, and let the public service expand and be not accountable and have so many properties that are in dereliction with people trying to do up all those places. I honestly believe, and I believe this, that you just have lost touch. You're a tired, lack of energy and spirit to carry on your government. But in sending out that lethargic message to the public here, the creation of this fund yesterday slipped it in, totally unorthodox what she did, unprecedented, that she put in the rainy day fund. And I'm not totally opposed to it, but I'm opposed to putting in 2 billion this year and 4 billion next year, when we should be putting into projects to help our rural communities, that we don't get a bob. You have plenty of it here for the Lewis and the Dats and all that up here in the capital. So as I said, Minister, it's literally pathetic. You have press conferences today to explain what you gave. Give them one hand, but you've already taken it away. As I said last night, St. Peter and St. Paul are saints, but I don't know where the saints are with G, because the island of saints and scholars is totally, you have destroyed the spirit of the people. You've taken away, put on these punitive taxes. You've given out credits now, instead of tackling the big power companies, the wind energy companies, and have the windfall tax on those people as well. You have toolboxes from the EU which you won't use. You've refused to use them in many areas. You've refused to apply for funding, and you didn't apply for different schemes in the EU. Other countries have shown the way. Portugal have done it. Many other countries have done it. Just reduce the VAT to 5%, 6% and 7%, and you're putting it up here, the exact opposite. Minister, the embarrassing charades of the past three years have shamelessly siphoned wealth into one direction towards the globalists and their servants, and drained the men and women of Ireland, and I really mean that, and the children of Ireland, and for the future. And we have such a huge diaspora, with an enormous globally influential diaspora. We are the country that could put a stop to this story if your government here would serve the people, encourage the people, and indeed let them live. Let them live, let them work, and let them live, and let them be healthy and be happy. And we should do that, because it's embarrassing to see that we are here now with this insatiable, pretty drastic desire to serve the globalist masters and not serve the public, which our constitution dictates, and which the men who were celebrating 100 years ago fought for this country. But you want to serve the global masters. It's how high, they say jump and you say how high. We saw it during the lockdown. The big conglomerates made a fortune, all small business but a stride, but you're wiping small business off the face of the earth. We have no support at all for them, while there is some support for the bigger companies with ESB, and you won't have it for the small businesses, the people on the road, the hauliers, all those people, they were so badly needed. So I hand over to my colleagues. Thank you.